egoism teaching, the beginning of me. Yeah, the beginning of all of us, and not the beginning of me, it's the beginning of all of us. And this is when you start to really take your place in the world, take your place in the world as a child of the divine. I am the child of the universe. Whatever, even if you're an atheist, it doesn't matter. I meet so many atheists who believe in love. And in fact, they're atheists because they say, look at all the religious institutions, even now the yogic institutions, they tell me, they're all corrupt. And I said, but you do believe in love. Yeah, I believe in love. But they don't. They're just, political, what's the word, pawns. They don't believe in love. And yet they tell us we have to. So they're not really atheists to me. They're really the ones who know God more than most people, because they have that understanding, that forgiveness, that love. So now, then I have to tell them, you need to forgive those institutions too. I think they've come here to teach us. To teach us this is not the way to be. This is not the way to be. Life is very, very, very short. We all know this, and yet we think we live forever. And that's why our chant, Asatoma Sadgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mirtyoma Amritam Gamaya. Lead us from unreal to real. Lead us from darkness to the light. Lead us from the fear of death to the knowledge of immortality. That's the truth. Glory be to the Father, to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning, is now, and forever will be. If we're part of that consciousness, consciousness doesn't die. It reflects what we think. And this is the work. Watch your thoughts. Remember what the scriptures teach us. Watch your thoughts, they become your words. Watch your words, they become your actions. Watch your actions, they make your character. Watch your character, it makes your destiny. So there's no God that punishes us. There's nothing like that. Doesn't exist, that kind of thinking. It is the God in us that creates that. We follow the path, we get the vibration. It's an energy, it vibrates all the time, and scientists have proven that now. Isn't it great? What Patanjali says, people come to, oh Nellie, did you read that? I read it with Patanjali years ago. And they thought we were witches or we were practicing something not normal. And now science is proving all of this, and I feel so happy. It's proving that pranayama works, the breathing techniques work, and it is important to do the breathing techniques because it is one way. Pranayama, Sri Patanjali tells us, breathing is one way where the veil over the inner light is destroyed. The veil over the inner light. All of us have this veil. You see, and got interpreted as veils. When somebody dies, called a veil. Yeah. No, it's inner light. The veil over the inner light is destroyed. Now we all have the inner light. And the veil, it's called Maya, it's destroyed. And how can we prove this? There's a lovely book out by a great neuroanatomist called Jill Bolte, and if you've read her book, it's called My Stroke of Insight. It's really interesting if you haven't. It's about a neuroanatomist who is studying the brain because she had a brother who suffered from schizophrenia all his life, and they suffered a lot watching this. So she made it her life's work to study the brain. So she studied the left side, right side of the brain, really worked hard, loved to help people out there. How can we do, and what is it in the brain? It's our machine that makes us the way we are. So she discovered the left side of the brain was more logical, figures, numbers, etc. was quite grounded to the earth. And the right side was more artistic, creative, and can go. Connection with the divine, okay? So what happens at the age of 37? At the age of 37, she suddenly, one day she's having a shower and she gets up, she's not feeling good. She goes, I'm not feeling good, I'm not feeling good. She goes into the shower and she says, I feel a little out of my body, something's happening to me. So she gets out of the shower and she goes, oh my God, I'm a neuroanatomist and I'm having a stroke. She can't feel her hands, she can't feel her feet, but she's watching all this. Doesn't move, the brain doesn't go. She knows I'm having a bleed on my left side. But she's going, oh, but it's so lovely to feel this space, this oneness. Do I really want to come back? And then the other, still bleeding at the head, and she goes, no, I need to get help. And she tells, it's a really interesting book, but she's on YouTube as well. She has a talk on TED Talks, do Jill Bolton, look her up. She's dynamic. It really will make you know, God, this is so exciting. And she discovered her spirit. Anyway, she took half an hour to remember to call the number on the phone for the colleague she works with. So she said, finally, she takes a squiggle and matches the squiggle with the phone, and then she can dial the number, and then she thinks she can talk. But of course, all that comes out, and a colleague recognizes the phone number and goes, are you okay? Are you okay? And she goes, can't talk. He'll bring help. And so, the book is really interesting. And then she's talking about this left side, where she's losing control of everything. And then she's talking about the right side, where she's euphoric, and she's ethereal, and she's one with everything. Oh, and she loves everything. She's one, she's consciousness, she's this, and she goes, do I really want to live? Do I want to stay here? And then there's something, yes, you have to, because you're a neuroanatomist, and that is your job to find out what's going on so you can tell the world. And she goes into this space, and she sees everything, and it's really quite something. So, and then 8 years later, she's fine. She got herself back. And you know she will. She knew she would, because there was no reason, she came back to help the world. That was her journey. She knew that, especially after doing that. She realized this was her journey. And it was so incredible. She's the person who helped her through this, was her mom. Because her mom gave her so much love and so much faith, and just was so patient. She said she lost one child to schizophrenia, she wasn't going to lose the next one. And 8 years later, she's on TED Talk. It's a really incredible story. And so when you think of consciousness, right, and you think of, so our brain, the instrument, is divided into 2 hemispheres. So when we're on the right consciousness, we can go to those places. But of course, if we stay in those places, we don't want to come back to Earth. And this is what sometimes happens with people who use psychedelics, drugs, right? They go to those places because it knocks the left side of the brain. It takes the other side of the brain to different places. But the problem with that is when they get back with psychedelic drugs, they cannot balance too well. They get lost. Because it's not the real connection to the divine. Now, Sri Patanjali and all the great saints and souls have said that you don't need to do all this stuff to realize the divine. Just believe it. Just keep saying, God is in me, I'm not alone. If you don't believe you can say that so that you don't feel, you know what? I'm a part of the consciousness. Well, help me to accept this, because it's so difficult for the human soul to accept God. I am God. I am Shivam. Right? It's so difficult. What helped me a lot is, okay, Nalanie is the human person, but what drives Nalanie is beyond. So if I want to be the best in this life, I will ask that beyond to drive me. And this is where you link all the pieces of the puzzles together in St. Francis's prayer. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. And then my master said, no, don't say make me, Nalanie. They changed it. It's, I am an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me bring love. Where there's darkness, let me bring light. I am. My master used to say, I am. He said, don't you know when Moses went to Mount Sinai and he saw the burning bush? God is light and energy, burning energy, tapas. When we go through something, we burn. God is that light, that burning, right? And he asked, who are you? And God answered, I am that I am. And every time we introduce yourself, you say, I am, for example, Michelle. I am Michelle. I am Nalanie. So Nalanie belongs to I am. Michelle belongs to I am. Ushi belongs to I am. We all start with I am. So who is the I? Who is the I that knows the person? Who is the I that knows the person? Who is the one that watches that person think? Who is that? What is that energy? And if it can watch it, then it must be able to change it. So the next question for the spiritual aspirant is, what is my practice? What is my practice? What practice works for me as an individual? There are no set rules. Oh, you have to do this in order to find God. You have to do, I'm sorry, I'm a rebel. I'm a total rebel. I think you just have to be you, love yourself, who you are, and be the best of you. I get all these yoga schools over. If a person is not vegan and not good, and I go, oh my God, what are we falling into? Another role of judgment? Allow people to be what they are. That means only the vegans are going to find God, only the Catholics are going to find God, only the Muslims are going to find. What a lot of nonsense is this? Separation, 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 separation. In every field, and even in yoga, where there was not meant to be separation, now is judgment. And even with so far as posture, if you don't get your posture perfect, you're not a good yogi. Now, how does that work? So you mean all the people that are sick in hospital, whatever, they can't contact God because they can't go in a headstand? Hello? Where's the reality? Why do we keep falling into the nonsense? Why do we keep falling into the nonsense? Why are we always led? Know yourself well, know you are divine, and trust which way works for you. I have a student who can't do Hatha Yoga. And I go, why you were down there? Everybody tells her, I don't care if you can't do Hatha. You're one of the kindest people I know. For example, she cooks really well. So great, make people happy like Ramu, you know? Why do you have to identify yourself, this egoism, that I have to be a certain way in order to find God? Why can't you be a businessman to find God? Of course you can. You can spread it to all those others and maybe teach them something. We need people like you in the world to change them. We need to be in the world to make a difference. We need to be around those crazy people that you deal with. And, oh God, this girl is incredible. She can solve all problems. And if they don't miss it, time to move away. We need each of us in this world. We need you in the golf grounds to teach them how to love and not compete and get angry. Don't you see? Each one is needed for where we are in life. There's no special. We're all special. We're just different. And thank God we're different. Can you imagine how boring it would be if we were all the same? It's so interesting. I love my clients because they're all so different. You know, I have very, very sick, mentally sick people, and I've got people who are just like incredible, but at the core, I'll tell you, they're all lights. They're all lights. And a gentleman tell me I'm a really awful person. I did all this all my life, and I go, oh, but you're so good because you want to do good now. How come you come to me at the age of 58 and you want to do good? Because there's so much good in you. Do you think I can ever be good? I said, you're already good. Now, I like to work with people who are on drugs. He's not on drugs himself. I put on drugs because I feel sorry for them. And I said, you're not good. He said, because I can deal with them. I'm rough like them. I said, who cares you're rough? Do you think they can deal with me? I'm too sweet for them. They'll probably kick me over. So we need you because you can deal with their roughness and you can put them straight with your goodness. He said, I don't know how to apply that. Easy, let me work with you. Once you know the rules, you can do it. Trust yourself. what's happened here? He didn't believe in himself. He didn't believe that he is a good person. I said, why would you want to deal with all these rough people? You must be really good inside because you want them to be better. See, we miss the point. We forget, and we think it can be somebody else. Just being who you are is the secret.
Question. As yogis, we are taught forgiveness, but at times forgiveness is so hard and anger takes over. Is it bad to show anger? And does being angry make you a bad person?
That's a wonderful question. I love that question. Funny enough, it's somebody from UK the other day talked to me about exactly the same thing. So let me tell you her story because I might answer yours. Right? She called me up and she's been doing yoga with me like 4 years, not too long, because she lives in the UK. Anyway, so she said to me, Nalanie, I don't know what's happening to me. Suddenly, I'm angry. I know I should forgive, and I forgave 3 years ago, but today I can't forgive. I'm so angry because this is not right, what they're doing. It is not right. And she goes, am I bad? Am I this? Why can't I control my mind? And I go, no, you're just more honest now. She said, what do you mean? I said, spiritual soul has to journey through certain things. We have to, whether we like it or not. And one of the hardest ones is greed and anger and lust. Those are the hard ones, right? So anger has to become so real to us before we understand to let it go. If it's not so strong, if it's not so real, we lie to ourselves, and which is what most people do when they're angry about something. No, it's okay. It's not okay. It's not okay. It's important to do this now because this is it's not okay. If you didn't feel that anger, perhaps you couldn't do the job that's been given to you. But at the same time, see it as the anger has to be applied, but you need to detach from it in your quiet time. Now this is the hard job that most counselors can't do. And you need to learn to do that. And how do you detach in your quiet time? Because while you need to apply that anger to make it move people move. It's like, oh, Jesus, right? When he went to the temple and he saw, right? Didn't he get angry? And didn't he get angry with the fig tree? He said, fig tree, your job is to get figs. Why are you not growing any figs? You should grow figs. So, and I watched my master get angry as well. One of the secretaries was really rude to him one day. And he told her, you shut up and go away. And I went, Gerda, he goes, I keep anger in my pocket. She needed that. And I love that saying, I keep anger in my pocket. But it's very difficult when you're dealing with this person, these people all the time. That is why it's important to have Sangha. When it starts to affect your people around you that are full of love. And this is why even Buddha said, in this world, you need a Sangha. And this is what I was telling the woman in UK. I said, this is why we have Sangha. We have like-minded people. Because it's so easy to go into that wheel when you're alone, when you're living alone, and you're separated and everybody tells you you're stupid to think the way you're thinking, you start to fall into their negative energy. So when you're around Sangha, what happens is, you remember, yes, of course I've always known this, why did I go into this pattern? So, and that's the same thing I told the person in UK, and I said, Nalanie, you're right, because just talking to you for half an hour, I'm already feeling 100% better. I said, why? You tell me why. She said, because you reminded me of who I am. Whereas everybody around me is doing it the other way. They believe in greed, they believe in lust, they believe in this. So I'm surrounded by these people all day long that I forget, am I really meditating? Am I really making a difference? Isn't it stupid? I'm wasting my time. I'm still angry. And I said, no, you're honest now. She said, it's true, before you say it's all right, and it was never all right. I said, yeah, you're accepting your truth. It's okay. If somebody hurt you, to say it's awful. You can't pretend it isn't if that's what you're feeling, because you're lying to yourself, so you're not being authentic. Feel it, feel the pain of it and say, help me, I don't like this pain, help me through it. And this is what Arjuna was doing with Lord Krishna. Help me, I don't like this pain, but you made me go into this battle. And then his answer to Lord Krishna answers Arjuna, don't be a coward, don't you know who you are? Don't you know who? Don't be afraid. You're doing this to protect righteousness. You are doing this to protect that which is good. You're helping these people by fighting. You're helping the rest of your community to not be cheated and used for the people in charge, for their own greed, really, literally. So you're doing a good battle, but it's never easy, and it has to bring up these feelings. So be around people who can give you the confidence of, yes, let's go back into prayer, let's be together. This energy is good for me. And you have friends near you. Speak of spirit. Because Lord Jesus said, and I really believe, I've seen this, where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I am there too. I am there too. So when 2 or 3 people sit and talk about this wonderful feeling, woof, it's there. It's there with you. Why? Because it's a vibration. The vibration gets stronger in love. That's the incredible magic of the spiritual path. The magic. And you just hold somebody's hand in love without judgment, and you can do this. And when you break anything, it's always allowed. Bang! So that's the anger. Out. It has to come out. Break it. It's done. Out it comes. That's why the anger has to come out. Because if it stays in you, that's when you get sick. That's when you get sick. So it's better to get the anger out than keep it in you. It wasn't my mistake. I wasn't wrong. I didn't do this because I wanted to hurt anybody. It was just the way it was. And maybe this was what I had to learn from. All these things came to me because I needed to step up to God, to the God in me. I needed to step up to the God, and she stepped up. And sometimes you step up, it looks like love. Sometimes you step up, like Lord Jesus, it looks like anger. Sometimes it looks like pain. It has many faces, and then you break the block.
Question. I have tried so many things to find my true self. What is the best way to get back to the spirit?
Okay, that's a really good question, okay. My master, first of all, step number 1, stop digging so many wells. You said you've tried so many methods, right? You try this and you listen to this and you go here and you even lock yourself in the dark room, which is really not necessary at all. In fact, it's quite sad. Okay? So we did all those things to find you and it didn't help, right? My master said to me, he said, no. If you have 9 taps in the house and you turn on all 9 taps, the water pressure will be very little. You have 9 taps, you turn off 8 and you have 1 tap. What will the pressure be? Strong. You have dissipated a lot of your energy on so many different things. So the mind is like confused, the soul is confused. My advice is stick to one method that works for you. What works for you? And for me, it is a very simple method. It doesn't need all this stuff. Even in the sutras, it says, once you've learned the scriptures, drop the books, forget about it all, and just live it. Second thing you need to know, the mind will always think. It doesn't stop thinking. That's its job. Okay? It's its job. I told you when I start to meditate, I think. Suddenly 2 hours later, I'm thinking, and I go, what happened in between? I don't know. I feel that was medicine that I don't know about, because you don't know. Because when you're in that consciousness, you're not individual anymore. So you can't kind of tell your mind, I need to stop thinking. It doesn't work. It gets more angry, want to think more. All you have to do, what is the difference, is your practice is, when you meditate, fill your heart with love. Just fill it with love. Let the thoughts come, bad, good, and transcend it. Look at them. Don't judge them. You will start in the beginning to judge this thought, this thought. Take a deep breath, breathing. That's what you need to do. Take a deep breath. And let go. Say your mantra, and I'm watching these thoughts. This is why it is very good to have swadhyaya, study of spiritual books, before you meditate. Now this is Lez's method, if I may say. He will take up Gurudev's book, which he gave you today, the Golden Thought for the Day, open it on the day, read it. Or now he's done it for so many, it's Taoism, whatever it is. He read 1 or 2 sentences on consciousness. And then he goes, when he comes out an hour later, how was it? He said, contemplation on consciousness. And then I see a shift in him, a total shift in him. So he was still in thought, but the thought was a higher degree, so that all the lower thoughts that disturb the mind were no longer there. So he was living in consciousness with that energy, because he's now contemplating on that consciousness. And Bhagavad Gita, that he who is devoted to me, constantly with me, will find me in here. Not all these methods, your own method. Nobody can tell us which method is right or wrong, and I think this is where so many people in spiritual schools or organizations get it wrong. They tell you there is only one way. So long as your mind is in that higher energy, when it's in that higher energy, by itself it leaves you. The thoughts will leave. You cannot make the thoughts stop. You cannot. You can use 1,000 methods, it will not stop. But find that method that works with you. With me it was in the early days, 3 hours, 5 to 8, I used to practice every morning, but I used to do hatha yoga. I used to do an hour of meditation. I would do study. I would do this. I did that for 10 years. My poor husband had poor guy, he had a tough time with me. Because I go, get up in the morning and I go, this is my time. Sorry, this is my time. But I'd be there at 8 o'clock to feed my kids breakfast before they go to school. That was my duty. Do your duty. What is your duty? I had to do my duty. So in order to do my duty, I just got up 3 hours earlier. It's something I was determined to do in my life. And so many people, you need to go here to do this, or you need to listen to this guru. And I say, I found mine. I'm sticking with one. So do you see? Trust what makes you feel comfortable. If it's music, sing. Sing with music. I love music. I love modern music. People say, that's to me only mantras. Sorry, I love modern music. Some music makes me so happy, you know. And every time I hear you've got a friend, I think of my Gurudev sitting next to me, telling me you've got a friend when you're down and troubled. And you need some loving care. I'm there with you. There's songs that awaken you, don't they? Let It Be is another one, right? Let it be, let it be. You know what? We can't do blissful words of Mother Mary said to me, let it be. That's why I have Mother Mary in my garden, a big statue of her, because I love her so much. It's the method that works for you personally. Trust you. I did that. And everybody criticized me. You're this, you're that. No, I found God. Why do you want me to go this way or that way? I don't want to move. I found for me God is peace. Why would I want to disturb my mind? You can think what you want of me. It doesn't matter, but it's my life and I don't want it this. For me, peace is God. Don't take it away from me. I won't let you. That's the battle. I can give up anything, but not my peace. And that's the secret. You can give up everything, but not your peace. Make that your rule, and it will guide you. And for me, peace is God. God is love.